No doubt about it, fentanyl affects neighborhoods all across America and right here in the Northwest. And tonight we're looking at one block where drug dealing and using is creating mayhem in downtown Portland.
It is quite rampant, and we sent our investigator Elise Haas to find out how this is impacting everyday life for those who live and work in that neighborhood. In fact, you even got an exclusive look at the work to combat this big issue.
Yes, I'm hearing from people on all sides of this issue, the residents, drug users, but also police. And I did go on that exclusive overnight ride-along to see how Portland police track down suspected dealers. So watch what we uncover tonight.
All right, I got another dealer here.
Where's he at? We're rolling right now.
Portland police catching drug dealers who are capitalizing on addiction.
Drugs are a multi-billion-dollar international industry.
Sergeant Jerry Ciota leads Portland's bike squad, now known for working on the front lines of fentanyl. As the drug trade evolves, police adapt to dealers' tactics.
We don't see the drug dealers during the day anymore, so we have to change our tactics tonight.
The Portland Bike Squad started conducting overnight missions, targeting the latest drug dealing hotspot near Southwest 10th and Jefferson. Police said the rampant drug activity is disrupting daily life, like trips to the grocery store, daycare, church, and the art museum.
So I actually literally had to walk in to traffic and stop the cars so that I didn't have to walk through, people consuming.
Ethan Brown is feeling the effects of addiction.
As someone that has peers who are opiate addicts, friends, acquaintances, along with other street drugs, I think that it has to be a two-pronged approach. We have to have compassion, we have to provide health care, but also the open use of drugs and garbage on the street is a problem for a lot of people.
A problem indeed. Jan Austin lives in the neighborhood. She tells me what it's like to walk to her nearest grocery store, the Safeway at Southwest 10th and Jefferson.
A lot of disoriented people, a lot of people actually using drugs there on the sidewalk as you walk by.
She sees drug dealing too.
The changing of hands, and you know that money is being passed and that drugs are being passed. And you just walk by because, it's one of those things that's a very fine line.
Residents in Portland are struggling to cope with what the world now knows as one of the most addictive drugs.
When I first came here, this was such a perfect place, and I know they're drug addicts. They stand out here and do their fentanyl, and I feel for them, but it becomes swarms, literally.
Maria didn't want her face on camera because she told us how hard it is for her to get to the grocery store, and she literally lives across the street from it.
I have become very, very cautious about going right across the street to shop because it depends on who's out here. It's just become a junkyard. It's becoming dangerous.
It appears to be swinging right there.
Maria's fear isn't unwarranted. Last week alone, a woman reported to police someone hit her in an unprovoked attack as she left her downtown apartment Wednesday night. The next day, police arrested Christopher Casey for a hate crime in possession of fentanyl after investigators say he used racial slurs and assaulted a security guard at Safeway. The following day, officers had an emergency order to clear this sidewalk camp after a student reported someone tried to stab them with a needle.
I don't know what the city can do, but these people are clearly suffering, and also, they're addicts, and that's a hard thing to fix. So I don't know what any solutions are, but all I can say is it's very untenable to live here.
We saw Tiana Green cleaning up foil, drug paraphernalia, and garbage around a disjointed campsite near Safeway. She says she's been homeless for a couple of years, witnessing fentanyl take lives.
It's traumatizing. It can be traumatizing. A lot of people don't know what to do, Some people would walk away and not do anything, because they're scared they're going to get in trouble.
At its worst, Portland police report snatching pounds of fentanyl at a time from dealers. But after numerous big busts, dealers are being more cautious.
It's just a new challenge for us, and challenges that we have to adapt to, and we'll continue to adapt to.
They were definitely slinging over here. I watched a deal I just didn't see enough to be able to say PC with the current case law.
I watched as police surveilled the drug scene, carefully distinguishing between users and dealers. This process can take hours to ensure there's sufficient evidence to hold people accountable in court.
Here's the cash. All right, just saw the cash too. Looks like he had a decent quantity on him.
The bike squad arrested this suspected drug dealer after confirming several exchanges. They found plenty of evidence on him: drugs, cash, and a scale.
That's what we're looking for.
Jeez. Is that all powder?
Yep, compressed powdered fentanyl.
Fentanyl used to be sold in pills, but now it's sold in powder form. Users want to exclusively smoke it, so drug traffickers don't even bother to press it anymore. This dealer claims he was able to make more than $500 in 15 minutes.
2020.
Then officers also found more than half a dozen welfare benefit cards in one of his associates' possession. This is a cycle that's repeated throughout their late-night mission. 3 people were charged that night with the distribution of a controlled substance and booked into the Multnomah County Jail.
Gil, you got a copy?
Northwest corner, 10 in Columbia. Good.
The bike squad seized a total of 115 grams of fentanyl and 13 grams of crystal meth. The people caught dealing often tell officers they're from Honduras, some saying they're selling drugs to free their relatives who are being held hostage by the cartel. Sergeant Ciota says the limited number of officers in Portland combating street dealers barely makes a dent when considering the magnitude of the problem at an international scale. On a federal level, though, the U.S. has yet to agree on what will come next after what's now deemed the unsuccessful war on drugs.
All weigh and test again, and we can grab a new IBIS and we can try to get a better ID.
It's just something.
Regardless, Sergeant Ciota says his team is dedicated to deterring drug dealers in Portland.
I've lived here literally all my life, and it's discouraging to hear people say, "Oh, Portland is not. I don't go to. It's not what it used to be." And so there are a lot of people who are trying to get people to stop saying that.
Ethan Brown shares that same desire. He was also born and raised here.
This is our life. This is real. We live in this city, and I love this city, and I love Oregon. I grew up here in Oregon, so I don't want to leave. I just want these people to get help, and I also want to be able to walk down the street.
Like many parents, Ethan is determined to protect his daughter Nova. Ultimately, he hopes for a future where she can walk down the street without facing fentanyl. And residents have wondered, why Southwest 10th and Jefferson has become the latest problem spot. I did check and I found out it is just right outside of downtown Portland Clean and Safe's service district. So, that means that this area has less interaction with cleaning crews and direct access, of course, to the grocery store there. But there's likely a multitude of reasons people are using and dealing drugs here, because when the root of the issues go unaddressed, this problem merely migrates.
And all this happening at a time when state lawmakers are looking at changes to Measure 110, and in some cases there's a call to eliminate 110 altogether, to criminalize drugs.
Yeah, so these are very serious conversations that are happening at the state level right now, and I'm interested in hearing more about what they're going to do. But that's why I'm going to be sitting down with Governor Tina Kotek tomorrow in a one-on-one interview. I want to figure out what her action plan is. What does she want to see happen? And then I'll be bringing that in a special report next Wednesday.
Yeah, and I think so many of us can relate to Ethan, and then there was the neighbor that you heard from. You feel for the people who are addicted to these drugs. We've seen it because this store that you focused on is here in downtown Portland. Our colleagues have seen it. We've gone to that store. Even during the day, many people look like zombies. And so they're being fed this drug that keeps them going. And we all just want to be like, I hope you get help,
And that young father's tears. I was born and raised here, he says. He's just sick about what's happening. And you hear that over and over. I know that touched a chord with a lot of our viewers tonight. We're just fed up with it. People are just, we need to do something.
And another thing for him, too, is that he recently just lost a friend to an opiate overdose. So addiction touches so many people's lives in, of various ways. And so when he walks by people who are openly consuming with his 18-month-old daughter, it triggers a lot of his grief.
Okay, look forward to your talk with the governor. All right,
Great
thanks,
report,
Elise.
Elise, thank you.